Today we're gonna go through the layers of this image step by step. Hey there, my name is Ali and this channel is all about making you better in Photoshop. As you can see here, all of my layers I used in this file. This one is very important. This is the first one I used. This is the texture I'm gonna use in every single mountain in this photo. I have it here, but it's gonna be like closed for the rest of the image. When I try to use it, I just take a copy of it and I keep the original one safe. Okay, as you can see here, the orange, I'm gonna open all the orange layers. This is what I call the concept or the idea. This is the first phase or how I start any image I do. It's all about like you decide where you want your like the different layers to be. This is, for example, is going down. This is flat on surface. The best thing about that is it doesn't take time and you can play around with it. Like in the beginning, it looked like that, something just like this. It was like that. All of my mountains were just like flat. But then when I made the decision, I want everything to be like it has like some horns and that all that stuff. It was very easy for me to change everything. Now, after I'm done with this, I add my sky. This is my sky. And as you can see here, I have very like soft edge spikes at the back as well. You can barely see them. Okay, let's get started. This is the one furthest back, I believe. Yeah, this is the one furthest back. Okay, I have these two layers. You see the green ones are the mountain texture. I add the one here I had, which I showed you before. This one, the red one. I just simply put it on top of this one. I have the selection and then I layer mask it. So as you can see, if I close the mask, if I solo this one and I close the mask, you see, this is like the mountain layer, but it's masked to be exactly on the drawings I have behind. Okay, after I masked it, I added a curves layer on top of them just to add some sort of like a fog in front of them from the lower side to make them look back in the background, and a color balance layer to make them look more blue, because when they go further back to the sky they should have some blue from the sky. Okay, let's jump to the next one. This one, as you can see here, and here is the mountain texture. As you can see, it looks very fake, but then the adjustments taking place. This is the curves adjustment. Okay, you see what I did here? It was like that. So I took the very dark points, made it more gray, and I took the very bright points, make it also more gray, reducing the contrast in the image. I'm gonna Control Z, Control Alt Z to bring it back to what it was. And then in this one, as you can see, I added another brightness, but only affecting the parts below, because this is where the fog is, and this will make it look like it's distant in the background. And then I have this curves layer on top of everything, again adding blue to everything, so it looks more natural and more like it's blending into the sky. And then the violet color I have here, it's always for fog. As you can see, I have some fog drawn here and there. Okay, and then let's jump to the next one. This is the next one here. And I have this one, the material, the mountain texture on top of it. And then the adjustment on top of it to make it more natural. Again, I have like some brightness fog below. And another brightness one here. Because at this area in the middle, light should be coming. And then another one, it shows that light is going from left to right on top of it. Okay, let's jump to the next one. We have this one and that one. Here we have another layer of fog. And here, let's stick to this one first. We have here the mountain texture on top of it. And then this curves adjustment was just like dodging and burning. If you see, I made some parts darker. And Let's take that part. Okay, actually this and that, these two, I combine them together like this, merge layers, give them orange again. So this one, this selection here, I have this one. Okay, so this one, as you can see, this is like the mountain texture, but this time I made it like in a different perspective. I made it like it's a floor. And then as you can see, if you look closer here, I took the dodge and burn, like let's say dodge tool. And as you can see, I chose the highlights and I made this parts like you see very bright because we have light coming from here. And here we should have mountain, so these parts should be dark because the mountain is gonna have some shadow on top of this area. But here we don't have mountain, that's why it's bright. And also here we don't have mountain, that's why it's bright. However, here I made it dark because we have a mountain, so this part should be dark. And then I added some rocks here and there, here also. Okay, and then we have this mountain, and this is its texture. As you can see here, I made a lot of dodging and burning. You take the dodge tool and you just stand on the edges and you just like dodge the edge and burn. Let me show you, and burn the part in the front. So this gives the impression that it's 3D because the light is hitting this area and it's not hitting this area, so it makes it look like it's 3D. Okay, and then here we have another one like a mountain, like rocks, sorry. Okay, and let's jump to the last one here. And as you can see, here is the texture. Let me show you this texture. Actually, I'll solo it. This is like the texture, but what I did is that first I made it into the mask, only affecting these areas, and then after that it looks completely fake, as you can see. But when you start adding adjustments, let me show you the first one. This is the first one. Okay, I darkened the areas away from the light that should not have light. That's the first thing. Then I darkened the whole thing. I want to show you how I did that actually. As you can see here, I just darkened from here to there, just darkening everything. And then this one, yeah, like when you add a curves adjustment layer, a new curves adjustment layer, it comes with a white mask. So what I do after I do my adjustment, let me close this one. This is just like the adjustment without a mask. I just darken everything. And then I paint black on the whole mask. And then if you look closely at the mask, it has some white areas. So whenever you paint white, you're gonna reveal the effect. So only the parts I painted white here, there, and there are gonna be affected. I'm gonna show you the parts here. You see I painted white here and there. These are the parts that are gonna be affected by the curves adjustment layer I created. Okay, and then darkening everything. And then this one again, I darkened some parts. And this one, I brightened the whole thing. And finally that last one. You see what I did here? I added brightness only at the edges. I'll show you again, you see? Look closely. You see what that did actually? Just adding brightness on the edges made it look much more like it's a 3D object. This was so flat. It was like a piece of paper, but doing this made it look like it has depth or thickness to it, and even here. And then we have the final adjustments, which was adding a lot of fog. You see here, I added some blue fog of light here. This one, I added a lot of fog here. And this one, I just added light in the middle, light here and light there. And I added my character. If you see this character I drew, actually the original character looked something like that. I believe this is like how the original character looked. Oh, let me stand on the right layer. This is how the original character looked, but I drew these spikes and I just added color on top of it, so it looks like the character is having some like spikes, the same as environment. And then this was like, I'm done for the compositing. Let's fix everything together. The first thing I'm gonna show you, a curves adjustment layer. I like this effect actually. You take the darks. Let me reset it and show you again. Let me open it. You take the dark points, you pull up, but just a very little up, and you take the shadows and you pull down. I like this effect a lot. And we have here a gradient map. I chose like the shadows should have dark blue and the highlights should have bright cyan. And then I added a photo filter, which is a cooling filter, a cyan color. As you can see, if I make it 100%, this is what it does. But I chose a very like 17%, something very low. And the final adjustment was the curves. This one, I guess, I just took the bright areas or the highlights, made them much less. I'm gonna show you. You take the bright point here, you pull it down, and you don't want everything to be darker, only the bright points, you want them to be darker. So you take the dark points down here and bring them back up. So now you like the curve is going straight, and only when it comes to the bright points, it goes down. I'll show you what it does. You see, it's only affecting the bright areas at the back, making them a little bit darker. So you have like more details into them. And this is the final thing I do, which is I hold, let me close this one and show you. I create a new layer and then I hold on top of everything first. Hold Control Alt and Shift, or if you're using a Mac, it's Command Option and Shift, and then press E. This merges everything into a new separate layer. You have a layer of everything merged together, and you go to Camera Raw Filter, which is in Filter, Camera Raw Filter. It's a little bit lagging, but once you have it, you can edit the whole image in one go. The things I would always recommend you to play around with is the clarity. If you increase the clarity, it's more dreamy and soft. If you decrease it, sorry, and if you increase it, everything is sharper. Okay, let me bring it to 0. And I recommend the effects module. Always add vignette. Vignette is having the black circle, but don't use 100%. It looks very bad. Use just a little bit of it. It brings the focus to the center of the image, which is really nice. And you have the dehaze if you want to have it more foggy, or if you want to have it more clear. And let me increase the clarity and press OK. The thing is, I always go again to Camera Raw Filter. And the best thing around Camera Raw Filter is that you can choose where you want the effects to happen. I use the radial filter always. And I just draw, let's draw something around this. Only the middle point here. Okay. Make sure everything is 0 before you start. Okay. Make sure it's affecting inside and you have a nice feather. If you want to see what are you affecting, you can open the mask. This is what I'm affecting. If it's having the 0 feather, it's gonna affect like that. If it has high feather, it's gonna affect gradually. And of course, it's inside, not outside. I want to affect only the inside area. Or for example, let's say I want the outside area. I want to affect everything except the middle part. And I want everything to be less clear and a little bit darker. And press OK. You see what happened? Everything became less clear. I'm gonna Control Z. Everything is less clear and a little bit darker. Let's jump again to Camera Raw Filter. You can keep doing this until you have the effect you like. Okay, let me do this one again. Let me draw a circle, but this time I'm gonna bring everything to 0. This time I'm gonna make it inside, not outside. I wanna affect the area where the model is standing. I'm gonna make it a little bit brighter, a little bit more contrast, a little bit more clear, a little bit decreasing the haze, and a little bit sharper. And I'm gonna press OK. You see now this area is much clearer than before. I'm gonna press Ctrl Z to show you. This is the before, this is the after. This area is much clearer than before. And that's it for the breaking down of this image. If you have any comments or suggestions, make sure you link them below. And I have an announcement. In the month of October, I'm gonna buy a new YouTube setup, a new microphone, even a camera, and the videos are gonna be much more interesting. So make sure you're subscribed for more amazing content. Thank you.